Georgia's 2023 matchup with the Tennessee Volunteers is already gaining national media attention. People are calling it Georgia's toughest game on their schedule. They're calling it the most intimidating environment in college football. That would be Neyland Stadium against the Georgia Bulldogs in 2023. That's a projection. So it's getting the hype, and it's March. It's late March now, and it's already getting the hype. The Tennessee game used to be an early October game. Now it's a November game, so it's different. It's colder. It's definitely colder when it's in Knoxville, speaking from experience, than it is when it's in Sanford. But last year, Georgia and Tennessee, it got a lot of attention because of where Tennessee was at, obviously where Georgia's at, and Tennessee knocks off Alabama. They have this electric season. Hendon Hooker was a potential Heisman candidate. Jalen Hyatt is scoring 5 touchdowns in a game. They had an electrifying offense. It was fun. They were number 1 in the country there for a second. I emphasize second when the College Football Playoff Committee put them at 1. AP poll had Georgia at 1. They were a clash of 2 different number 1s when they faced off in Athens. Obviously, the College Football Playoff rankings is what matters when it comes to November. So number 1 versus number 3, that was a top 3 matchup in Athens, and Georgia thumps them. They shut down Tennessee's high-flying offense, and Georgia goes on to win another national championship, and Tennessee, ends up in the Orange Bowl. And Joe Milton is, I think, going to be their quarterback this year. It could be that 5-star freshman whose name I cannot pronounce. I'm not good with some of these names, guys. And is Tennessee better than they were last year? I'd argue no, but I'd also argue Georgia's probably not going to be better than they were in 2022, right? They just won back-to-back national championships and were 15-0. All right, you can't really go up from there. You can get better for sure. You can do it, but as far as an accomplishment, maybe winning a Heisman Trophy, maybe something. There's not much more you can do in a season if you're the Georgia Bulldogs. So, is this matchup Georgia's toughest? Is it the most intimidating in college football? I don't know. But, I've got some thoughts, and I'm going to read what some other people have said about it. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here. DoubleDogs' cover is actually from the Tennessee game. That Stetson Bennett image. There's a lot of other really cool images. I think this is one of the best games we shot this past year. It's one of the best stories. This book is, I would say, an improvement from Dog Struction. Both of those are on sale down below, along with links to Red Zone, the newsletter, all that good stuff, DoorDash. So, ESPN, Mark Schlabach calls it Georgia's toughest matchup in 2023. I've got the schedule pulled up. They're set to play on November 18th. So, Georgia at Auburn, I don't think that's their toughest matchup. Kentucky at home, I don't think that's their toughest matchup. At Vanderbilt, no. I don't see how Florida just gets better. Ole Miss at home is interesting for Georgia. So Georgia's schedule on paper is easier than it was last year. I would say their toughest matchups, man, that's really saying a lot. If the three toughest matchups is probably at Tennessee, November 18th, home against Ole Miss, November 11th, and then home against South Carolina. Does South Carolina get better? Does Spencer Rattler take another step? Does Shane Beamer have some juice? I don't know. But I would say those are probably their 3 toughest games. So I agree with Mark. I agree that at Tennessee's probably the toughest game. Now, I think Tennessee regresses. I think Georgia probably regresses too. I know you don't like me saying that, but they were 15-0. I just went through this. But, no Hooker, no Hyatt, a lot of the contributors of that electrifying offense gone. Now, you get another Heupel recruiting class, which he's done well, and it's in Neyland. It's going to be a tough one for the Dogs. It will be a tough one. All right, Georgia really spat all over their perfect season, their amazing season last year when they came to Athens and did what they did to them, like a 14-point beat down. You know what I'm talking about. It was definitely one of those games where it's like, wow, they just basically blew them out. They shut them down. And it was, I think, from a meme standpoint, from a comedy standpoint, like a joke standpoint, it was funny the way it happened. It's not funny if you were a Tennessee fan, but it was funny for Georgia fans, for sure it was, the way it went down. Hooker, 195, 0 touchdowns, obviously the pick to Keely Ringo, which we got a great shot of. That was me, actually. In 21, they go to Neyland. Tennessee's 5-5 at that point, 5-4, something like that. And Hooker, he does all right. Milton comes in garbage time, and he throws a bomb for a touchdown. And I think that it's just like 2 years ago how different that team was. We're talking about James Cook, Zamir White, Curious Jack. I mean, a lot of these guys are gone. Jermaine Burton, A.D. Mitchell, the people in that 21 game. I'm sorry, I just got kind of caught up looking at that. So 2 years ago, it was very cold, late November, and it was the biggest fight anyone gave Georgia in the regular season in 21 was Tennessee, and it was the historic Georgia defense. Tennessee, first year into Heupel, so things are changing. 41-17 was the final score, right? The historic Georgia team, and it'll end up being back in Neyland this year. I think it'll be a tight one. If I'm just projecting in March, I think it'll be a tight game for Georgia, just because I think the atmosphere would be loud. It's going to be loud. I agree. So this is what 24/7 says. It ranked the 11 most intimidating games/stadiums for 2023, and they ranked this at 1. They had 2 being the Big House for Ohio State, Michigan, which is probably true. Death Valley for Florida, LSU. Some of these are okay. But yeah, I mean, Georgia, Tennessee at 1. Specifically, this is what they said. You couldn't hear yourself speak inside Neyland Stadium twice last year during Tennessee's win over Alabama and Kentucky. 2 sellouts. They created some of the rowdiest atmospheres in Knoxville ever. That's going to happen again in 23 when the 2-time defending national champion Georgia plays Tennessee. Tennessee will try and end the program's reign atop of college football and in the SEC finale. Georgia should carry the nation's longest winning streak into Neyland Stadium for this one. I agree that Georgia would be undefeated heading into that game. I'd be shocked if they weren't, unless Georgia's just not that good this year, and we'll learn that. I want to emphasize, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I think Georgia's going to be really good again. I think the offense takes a dip, slight, and I think the defense takes a slight gain. And I think that, does Georgia go 15-0 again? I think they can. It's hard for me to predict that. I think it's kind of irrational to make predictions in March. There's so much we don't know. There are freshmen that haven't showed up on campus at these schools yet. There are position battles that have not been won. There are injuries that are yet to happen. It's just the case in all programs, whether it's Georgia or whatever. There will be injuries. It's just what it is. For your sake, you knock on wood. If it's the team you like, you don't want that to happen. So there's a lot of factors that are left to be played, but I think Tennessee's, I don't see them being better than they were last year. And that's my thing. I just don't see them being better. I don't think Joe Milton's necessarily better than Hendon Hooker was. I think he's going to cannon. I don't know enough about the freshman. I don't. Tennessee's defense wasn't great, right? It's not going to be significantly better. They're losing their best weapon in Jalen Hyatt. And what Tennessee hasn't proven yet, and Heupel hasn't proven yet, and maybe he does this year, is do you replace talent? Are you building something at Tennessee? Can you replace it? Kirby's proven it. All right, Saban's proven it. Ryan Day's proven it. Can Josh Heupel prove it? This year is an opportunity to show us, hey, plug and play. This is what Tennessee is now. I don't know if that's what it's going to be. I doubt it, but it could. And I think when Georgia goes there, it will be a harsh environment. It will be a tough game to win. In March, I say that Georgia wins, but I don't know. It will be tough. I agree with these national outlets. I do. Links below. Thanks for watching. Dogpost.com. Double Dogs, Dog Instruction, Red Zone, all that stuff. Down below.